So my name is Coach Melina, and welcome to the Nutrition Tips on this Sunday morning. So thank you to Coach Meli for a very, very good introduction of me. I'm sure all of you have very good stretch, or if you have just come out from Coach Meli's Pilates class and you're having your post-workout shake right now, awesome. For me, I'm having my tea mix. My favorite is always honey ginger. So let's get started on the topic this morning. And the topic this morning is really something maybe some of you are familiar, or perhaps it is something really new to you. But for me, ever since I got started on this transformation journey of myself, I went into a lot more on how my relationship with food, and I found out about all these kind of information. So let's get started. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Right. Can you see this? Is it all right? Oh yeah, our coach, not coach, our computer team today is Coach Annie. So I'm going to be a bit kalam kabut here, so you need to guide me. So can you see my screen well? Able to see?
Put in the presentation slide. Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm presenting now. Are you able to see properly?
Yes.
So it's a full screen, huh?
Not yet. You have to press, present and present. On the downstairs, there is a pink color highlights. Bottom, go down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that is a present. You click again. Present.
I click.
Then there is a pink color.
Oh wait. No wonder kena block.
Yes.
Okay.
Down. Okay, great.
Thank you to the computer team. So, able to see this now?
Yes.
All right. So, this is fine, huh? Can see everything, huh?
There is a side note also.
Sorry?
The presentation and then click present.
All right.
Presentation.
Let me just get it started again. Sorry, everybody. So just give me a bit.
No. You just click present.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Standard.
Wait, still. Okay, you just click close because you will see your side notes. You just push across and you close the window first.
Close this window?
Yeah, got okay. You go and present again. Okay, you can see once there is a present. No need to click this presentation view. Just click present. No, downstairs there is a purple color present. Yes, this one.
Okay.
Okay, Melina, let me guide you.
Okay, great.
Press got it right now. And then you close this window, close this presentation.
Yeah.
Exit the presentation. Okay, now when you click present, then there's a choice. Choose standard.
Okay.
Yes.
Standard.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Right. So sorry, everybody. It's a bit of a hiccup here, but I can guarantee you a lot of information you're going to get from this presentation. So let's get started. So again, the topic for this morning will be acid alkaline foods and how that can balance your body's chemistry, right? So I'm sure some of you here definitely have gone through science, or even if you're in pure science, there's always talking about acid alkaline, right? So how that is related into our day-to-day food that we take, because everything is about science. But before we get into that, let me just talk to you about my transformation journey, okay? So I'm a mom of twin girls. So this year I'm 42 years old. So how I got started was actually in my late 30s. So I'm not an overweight person my whole life. So I've always been, able to get back into my normal size, even after I had my kids. But of course, I'm not a kind of person who would be, doing workout and look after the food that I take, right? But as I became much older, I also acquired a lot of bad lifestyle habits. So me and my husband, we love to have a lot of movie nights after the kids go to sleep. And that's how we put on a lot of weight. So I was moving from my clothing size from S going to M and L. And finally, when I got into a situation that I didn't even know what size I was anymore, and that's when I knew I needed to do something. So the picture on the left, you can see I was already going on a fat diet and doing workouts 3 to 4 times even a week. But my idea of workout is not about, targeting on certain areas. It's really just going to the gym, looking at the cardio machine, doing 15 minutes of it, and I think that is workout. And after that, all gyms are in malls, and after that, I will go and eat my favorite food. So for 6 months doing this, I get no results, and at the same time at the yo-yo situation, and my energy was so low, so bad, that I felt that I was always falling asleep on the wheel when I'm driving to work and back from work. So that was really, really very dangerous. So I got to meet my coach, looking at a transformation picture like you see here, and I got into the best year of my life by doing just a program called our 10 Days Lean and Tone program, losing around 4 kgs in 1 month. And that was amazing for me because I couldn't do it in 6 months. So after that, I went to our BDC program and got into the best year of my life. So stay back for our BDC graduation around 2 p.m. Okay, that is stay back after here, but come back again at 2 p.m. and to see all the amazing people that managed to get their amazing results from our programs as well. So that's a very short, fast story of mine. So when I got into my transformation, I began to research more about relationship with food because whatever I learned in my journey of transformation, I also, apply it to my family as well. So this is why I love to share about what food means and the relationship on the food we eat. So next is, yeah. So when we are talking about acid and alkaline foods, right? What does it mean? So, every food we have a pH level, and pH level means that is what it really stands for is potential hydrogen, or we call it power of hydrogen. So it is not part of the table of elements in the chemistry table of elements, if you remember your school science properly, right? But what it means is really a tool for people to measure how much hydrogen is in any kind of food that has liquid, because our food all has liquid. Protein, in meats, we have liquids, and we want to see this amount of hydrogens inside and how active this hydrogen is. That's how we can measure the pH level. So it was identified by a Danish chemist called Søren Sørensen. All right, so the source is at the bottom. You can read more about him. He came up with the concept of pH back in 1893 when he's actually studying how to make beer. So during the beer making process, he found out about this reaction, and he, discovered pH. So he discovered that the pH level for balance, right, in nature, in everything, the balance number should be 7. And that is actually also the neutral number for water as well. So the only element in the world that is water, the pH level is 7. Of course, now that you hear about alkaline water and how that happens, that's another topic, right? But just talking about natural water that you can find anywhere, the natural pH should be around 7. So anything below this level 7 is considered acidic. So anything above number 7 pH level is alkaline, right? So if you can, this is all about just a bit of scientific things. So don't think it is too difficult to remember. Just see this, okay? In chemistry in school or in science in school, we like to play a lot on this litmus paper, if you remember. So this is how the table looks like for you to see what is acidic, what is alkaline, and what is neutral, right? So I remember in school we used to play a lot to find out, how the litmus paper changes color, and you compare it to see what is acidic and alkaline, right, in all the solution water we have. But coming to food also has the same reaction, especially when it's being metabolized. Like, for example, metabolize would mean that when we eat a certain food, how our metabolism turn that food into the level of acidic or alkaline in our body, right? So you see at the bottom, pH scale, you can see the color is like rainbow, right? So always we remember that neutral would mean more of the green side. Alkaline is more of the cool colors. Acidic is always on the warmer colors, right? So this is very, very easy to remember at this level. So as usual, anything that is the smaller number would mean that element would be higher acidic level, and anything that's a higher number in terms of like double digits, that will mean more alkaline. Okay, so as simple as that. So finding the balance of pH and the human body, right? So there's a very, very fine line in our bodies when we're talking about balance of our acidic body fluids and alkaline. Okay, how fine is it? Is the level pH number of 7.4. That is how fine it would be, you know. So every time our body, our metabolic rate, every time we eat, we are balancing our body fluids, naturally try to balance at 7.4 to remain optimal, which means all your body functions are functioning really, really at optimal level. So there's this fine balance of the number of 7.4. So what happens if we go out of balance, which means you are higher than this number or you're lower than this number? And you might be thinking that, how do I need to identify whether my body is at neutral, or am I in high acidic or high alkaline, right? So there are a number of ways where you can check. You can, probably get a doctor to check it for you. They just need to take your blood and test it out. But I'm sure all of us, we don't like to be pricked to always find out whether we are alkaline or acidic level, right? So the next is, yeah, we always need to practice about wellness, well-being, self-care, self-love, right? So for us to get into a balanced mode, you know, what's the difference between wellness and self-care? Wellness would mean that it's something that is more on the total physical level, right? That we want to create things for us to be in a balanced mode. Okay, so that will mean our physical, mental, social, all that. But self-care will mean our own attitudes and ability to, you know, have good habits to give us to practice that well-being, to be able to get that balance, right? So for example, as you know, we are all now at home. We are in the next MCO that we are not sure when it's going to be over, right? So when we want to practice wellness and self-care, so what happens is self-care needs to be on habits that can help to increase our own well-being and wellness. For example, when we're home right now, then we can't always be binge watching all the Netflix shows, right? And then at the same time, when we binge watch, we always have our favorite food in front because we treat it like movie night. Okay, I'm using myself as an example because I love watching a lot of shows, and that's how, you know, that time I thought self-care was to reward myself by watching a lot of shows and having food in front of me. But that is actually a really bad habit. So how we can create self-care in that term is maybe to pick better foods that are not so harmful for our bodies, which is more alkaline than acidic, and as well as practicing wellness, which is instead of watching so much of shows, we can read more or we can work out, you know, to give ourselves that kind of balance. So balance is important, not only on the outlook of physical, but what's happening inside as well. So like I said, what makes our bodies imbalanced? Just like the cat you see there, you know, we have all this lifestyle, food, environment, mental health. We're all keeping it in balance, right? So of course, the most important thing is lifestyle for us to be in balance, keeping our bodies balanced. And next is environment, which means that who are we always surrounding ourselves with to give us that kind of environment that can keep us into the lifestyle that we want. Next is mental health. What are we feeding our minds to be able to have that balance of giving ourselves positive energy and also at the same time giving ourselves motivation to have the lifestyle that we want, which is a healthy lifestyle. Lastly, this is the one that is the major impact and the major part of my topic today. What kind of food are we eating to give ourselves a body balance, which is what kind of acidic food that we are taking so much that's not giving us the balance that we are currently trying to get. Remember, the pH level for our body should be around 7.4, right? So the food that we're consuming every day should be balanced enough to help our bodies metabolize to give that level of balance. Okay, So, okay, let me do this. What happens when our bodies are not balanced? So these are some of the symptoms when you're not balanced, when you have mild acidity in your body. Okay, when your body is acidic, right, the minerals, including calcium, magnesium, sodium, are all taken from areas in our body. You know, when we're lack of it, it's taken from your bones and organs because we need to keep the body fluids neutral, right? To neutralize the additional acid that we have and then remove it from our body, and that helps, and at the same time it causes a lot of mineral deficiencies because we're not eating enough of balanced meal. So your body has to be smart. Actually, it is very smart already. It finds ways to keep it in balance, right? So that's why it takes it from your organs and bones to neutralize this acid. So all these deficiencies sometimes can go undetected for many years because we are not having the awareness of what's happening inside, right? But sometimes it gives us subtle signs that can be found, right? So here are some of the mild acidity signs, which is sometimes for women, we get yeast infections, okay? And then some of us, we feel fatigue all the time, even though we sleep so much or we are resting so much, we still feel tired. And definitely weight gain is one of the signs that we have mild acidity in your body. Acne, which means your skin is, you know, giving you that kind of uneven skin tone, dull skin. Allergies, that is one of the major signs, a lot very common these days. Cavities is meant for the teeth because you have less of calcium, and this is the reason why, you know, you have more cavities even though you are brushing with fluoride every day, right? And definitely last is premature aging, that sometimes when we have mild acidity in our bodies, we tend to age faster than our own calendar age. That's where we know that your body is not balanced at all, right? So next, okay, right. So just now we talk about the mild acidity, right? What happens when we have higher levels of acidity, which means the mild acidity is not taken care of, and then it accumulates over time, and our food's not balanced, and we're not selecting the right kind of food, and that accumulates to a bit more of a higher acidity level. So when it worsens, your symptoms become even more, which is you will have frequent headaches, okay? Sometimes you might even feel nauseated, like without any reason, okay? And you feel like indigestion, confusion, and then you will have low immune system, and sometimes you will have this heart feelings, right? The heart will have this arrhythmia, which means your heart rate is beating faster, even though you're not working out. But that could be, you know, sometimes you feel like you're under stress and then suddenly it beats faster. And then all these conditions that is listed here as well, all right? So, right, let me go backwards. Yeah, kidney, bladder infections, and so forth. So when it's accumulated, you get high acidity. And next, which is actually what happens if it's prolonged for over a much, much longer period in time, right? So virtually all kinds of diseases will really thrive in our bodies when it's in an acidic environment. So the symptoms will become more severe, and then that's where you will have all these conditions of health complications, which is digestive issues, like you have irritable bowel syndrome, gastric, heart disease, you know, hormonal issues for women, and depression, you know, so it's goes on, you know, when your body is really in like major not imbalance. So chronic pain is also something that is getting pretty common even with younger generation. And you know, the surprising thing is when we hear about chronic pain, it's usually for people who are maybe in the 50s, 60s years old. That's when we know that the body is, you know, not functioning so well. So, but we hear that getting younger. Why is that? So mainly is because of our food. We are not balanced. And last, which is all the chronic conditions when we have prolonged acidity in our body, okay? Our blood is really acidic, and that can happen to have chronic conditions, like you will have cancer, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, you know, so the list really, really goes on. So these are just a snapshot of what will happen if you're not looking after your daily food intake. All right. So what can we eat to bring back the body's natural balance? So it's all about understanding the food pH levels. So as you can see, you know, what is normal, what causes, what helps the health, and what causes illness. So everything needs a balance, because you can't always consume food that is too high in alkaline as well, or whether it's too high in acidity as well. We need to always bring back into our fine line of balance, which is around 7.4 pH level. Okay. So here, what foods are acidic? So you might be thinking like, I can't remember so many things, but let me just give you a really, really easy way to remember. Okay, you can see the pH acid alkaline chart here. Neutral will always mean like water, even our healthy fats and everything. So just keep that as neutral. 7 is always neutral, and 7 or 7.4 should be where our body should be. So alkaline would mean all the things that some people don't like to eat. For example, more vegetables, more fruits. So these are the categories would mean that are more alkaline for our body. So when your body is already high in acidity, like what I explained just now, when you have all the conditions that you need to be aware of, then that is your signal that your body is high in acidity. And that's how you should be eating more of these alkaline food groups to be able to bring back the balance and to neutralize all the acidity in your body. But of course, you have to remember it took many years for the accumulation of this acid in your body, because our bodies are very smart. It's able to bring back the fine balance. But when it runs over, you know, it overruns all the time, and that's where you will feel that, you know, you will have all the symptoms of the health complications, right? So we have to make the right choice to be able to consume food that is in this category alkaline. And the foods that are acidic, as you can see, is all the kind of food that is comfort food, right? For example, all our fast food, all our desserts, right? And even poultry, you know, milk, bread, and all these things. This can contribute if we are consuming it too much, too often, and portion-wise is always more than our alkaline level foods. And that's where the imbalance happens, right? So over time, over many, many years or many comfort food nights, this imbalance happens. So that's how that we can accumulate all the symptoms of having a very acidic body. So here is just a very broad and easy list to remember what are the foods that are acidic. So it's definitely all the dairy products, anything that is poultry, includes seafood as well. So processed foods, this is really the biggest highlight, because you know, the generation these days, I'm speaking for generation these days, because in my generation, when I was in my childhood, we had less processed food, because processed food in terms of fast food were really like a luxury item. So the reason was it was always like a reward system. If we did well in school, then that's where we get our fast food levels, fast food. But these days, I think parents are really, really stressed with environment. That's why I said the imbalances happen when we are stressed with environment and we just want instant things. So instant things are part of these processed food groups, right? Or even things that are, you know, when you look at the item that you buy in the grocery, when you read the ingredients behind. So when I go grocery shopping, I spend a long time, because every item I pick up, I would like to read what's behind, because I like to know what's inside. So when you see the item that is so long, then you know this is highly processed food, right? So it doesn't only mean that it's just limited to fast food as well. It could be also things that you pick up in the supermarket. So that could be part of the processed food. Refined sugars will be high fructose corn syrup coming from sodas. And of course, beer as well. Just like the person who identified and found out about the pH level. So beer also is really highly acidic because it's made from yeast, even though it's fermented. And you know, adults, we love to have our happy hours. So sometimes too many happy hours. That's why it brings our body to be very, very imbalanced. So next, what food are alkaline, right? So foods that are alkaline would be all these that are in green or really dark, rich colors that are in our berries. So here's just a really, really easy snapshot. Everything leafy green vegetables like spinach, kale, and all our Chinese kind of vegetables that are leafy, those are really, really high in alkaline levels, right? Cucumbers, broccolis, and fresh fruits. Okay, so we also have healthy fats here, which are coming from your pumpkin seeds, and of course, definitely, you know, fermented things like apple cider vinegar. These are also really, really good alkaline. You know, when you hear vinegar, it's always sour, and immediately when we think about it, it is acidic, because things that are sour, we always think is acidic. But guess what? When you consume that into your body, when your body metabolizes it, it becomes alkaline. So that's why you can't really judge things when you taste them. Okay, so we get into that later. So this is just a broad idea about what foods are alkaline. All right. So I'm sure some of you here have questions, but we can have a Q&A after that. All right. So next is just another summary again on what to eat alkaline foods to bring back the balance into your whole body. Okay, so acid forming foods, right? These are the category which is coming from meats, dairy products, anything poultry, fast food, processed foods, and also beer as well, right? But at the same time, I'm not trying to say that you can't have acid forming foods, right? So we always need to remember the balance of it. We can't totally avoid it, or neither can we not take it and take too much of it. So alkaline forming foods you can see here is definitely anything that's green, and for example, fruits as well. So here we have fruits, vegetables, and I will highlight again, it is always really, really important to take a lot of green leafy vegetables, because there's a lot of benefits to that. So that will be probably another topic another day about green leafy vegetables. But we are in Asia, and we are so blessed to have such a big variety of green leafy vegetables. So don't limit yourself to just taking vegetables that are just broccoli and cauliflower and spinach. We have so much more, right? So herbs, nuts, fruit seeds, and herbal teas. So next we go into fruits. Okay, so fruits we always think about high antioxidant. I'm sure you've heard about that so often. In the cosmetic industry, in the beauty industry, we always talk about antioxidants, because why? We always want to maintain youth, beauty, and our toink skin, right? So have to really, really understand about the pH level of high antioxidant foods. So these are just a list of them. Of course, every food that's listed here has different level of pH. Okay, so you might be thinking, how come here we have pineapple? How come here we have lemon, right? These are also important in our body, because no doubt you might thinking that pineapple, it has acidity, that's why it cuts my tongue, that's why I don't eat it. But it has a lot of benefits if it becomes alkaline in your body as well, right? So what is missing here, because we're all Malaysians, correct? It is durian. I know it's Musang King season, and some of you might be thinking, hey, how come we don't have durian fruit here? Well, I can tell you durian is an alkaline fruit, but it's borderline to acidic level as well. So if I'm not wrong, it is probably around 5 or 6 levels. So it's always in the borderline level. But again, you don't want to take too much of it, right? But neither is it a green light for us to take as much durian as you can. Because if you're on a weight loss journey, or you're on trying to bring your body into balance again, always make sure that portion is also very, very important. All right. Next. Okay, the balanced food chart. So balanced food chart would mean, you know, how we were in school that we were taught I remember when I was in standard 2, this was really very important topic. Reason why, because like I mentioned in my story, I was always really skinny in school. So all my teachers from primary level always ask me, what are you eating at home? What's your parents feeding you at home? So I remember when the topic about food groups came up, the pyramid, and I was like so upset that so many teachers were talking to me that I was being, so tiny. I remember copying that in my book. So thinking that, okay, I'll go home, I'll talk to my mom about it and make sure that I eat majority of that at the bottom. So if you remember in school, it's always at the last level. It is always a lot of grains. We have a lot of high starchy food. So we need to remember, right, that those were the kind of food groups to help to keep us full. Because at that time, we came from a society that probably in the past, we had a lot of famine, war, and things like that. So that food chart group has been not updated. So this is definitely the updated one for health. Okay, so take a good look at it, take a snapshot of it, because as you can see at the bottom, we have all what is really important, our vegetable group. Okay, like I said, in Asia, we have green leafy vegetables. Make sure you're taking more than just broccoli and cauliflower and cabbages. Okay, we have kailan, we have sawi, we have so much more. Okay, so explore on those green leafy vegetables. And next comes our fruit groups. And of course, later we have our nuts and seeds and also healthy grains. And you can see poultry will become less of importance, but it's also important as well. We can't leave it out. And of course, at the highest level, that is where a little bit of comfort food can give for those who really have sweet tooth and also loving a lot of red meat, right? Because we are all talking about balance here. When your body is high in balance, you have to definitely look into, sacrificing that just for a period of time, because it took you probably many years for you to be in the imbalanced situation. Like I said, our bodies were smart before, but because we abuse it so much by taking it for granted, that's where we have all these imbalances. So take care of your body so that you will not be having all the chronic diseases when you have high accumulation of acidity in your body and blood. Okay, like I mentioned, I really gave a bit of highlights that you cannot know acidic food just by taste, because it is all about science, right? And what is science? Science tells us, science tells us that lemons are not acidic. Oops, sorry, accidentally click. Give me a minute. All right. Okay, science tells us that lemons are not acidic. Like I already mentioned about earlier, lemons and pineapples, right? Lemons are scientifically classified as acidic, because when you take a litmus paper and you go and you go and mash up the lemon or you mash up the pineapple and then you check it, it is acidic at room temperature. But when they are consumed and our bodies metabolize it, it becomes alkaline forming in the body, right? So during digestion, okay, the citric acid of the lemon is oxidized into water and become carbon dioxide in our body. So lemons are really very good. And some of you here have been maybe reading a lot about lemons. You should be drinking more without the sugar. If you're doing that, fantastic, keep it up. But some of you, like, this is your aha moment, you realize that, hey, it's not acidic at all. So yeah, this is the reason why it's all about science. And also cow's milk is not alkaline, or any kind of poultry kind of milk is really not alkaline, because outside the body, when you also test it with litmus paper, milk is considered alkaline. But when it is digested in our body, then it becomes acidic, right? So how the scientists find out about this, right? It's because they determine acidic alkaline foods, they need to incinerate it and then they analyze it. So this is all about science, and they need to see the mineral content to be able to categorize these kind of foods, whether it is under acidic level or alkaline level. All right. So, okay, how do we bring our body back to its balance? As you know, we are part of a bigger group called Wellness Expert, and we have this program called our 10 Days Lean and Tone program. Okay, and this is the program where we will teach you about eating those food groups that can help you to bring back balance to your body. At the same time, bringing our nutrition program to help to complete that whole nutrition for you that your body is lacking, right? So some of you here definitely are still on our programs, our 10 Days Lean and Tone. Congratulations. Now you know why your coaches always tell you that your food portions are lacking in that green leafy vegetables. And there's a reason why you need to eat more of the fruits, you need to eat more of the vegetables, right? Now you know why, because already we need to bring our body back into balance. And this can also help to give you a breakthrough when you want in your weight loss, right? So for many of us, like even for myself, in my journey, I realized that my portions were not right? We always say that, yeah, we eat vegetables, we never miss vegetables, but did we ever think about our portions? So this program, 10 Days Lean and Tone, not only helps you to lose 2 to 4 kgs in 10 days, it also teaches you about what are the proper portions so that you can bring into focus back into your own self-care activities to help you get into your best shape of your life. All right. So this is my special gift of nutrition knowledge to every one of you. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to just type into the chat group. And let me just stop sharing. Okay. And if there's any questions here, I'll be very, very happy to try my best to answer. All right.
That's a question, so you can raise out the question again about the corn, right?
Let
I
me
think about corn. There's one question. They say that how can you classify corn as acidic?
Well, wait, let me just try to close this. All right. Corn, sometimes when we eat too much of it, our body metabolizes it. So it could be we are in the fine level of being acidic, fine level. So it's not totally, if you think about acidic, don't think about the numbers of 1, 2, 3 that is highly acidic, right? So we are thinking about at that level where it is just at the fine point, you know, neutral is 7, so it could be around 5.5, you know. So it's not that we cannot consume corn at all. Always remember, come back to balance. We need to come back into the total balance of our plate, right? And that is why when you're on our 10 Days Lean and Tone program, that the portion means more. The kind of food you select means more. We are not going to eliminate any kinds of acidic food just because your body's imbalanced. We need all those, because if you're eating too much alkaline, there's also another issue of your body is too alkaline, and that's where you will have other health problems as well. Or when you are not balanced to taking, that part of the, what else that is not balanced? Too much of the neutral food, then also you have less energy because you don't have enough of other groups like protein and carbs there. So just a broad idea about why there is this acidity and alkaline food. Okay, so I hope I answered your questions, and I see more coming up. Let me just try to.
There is a question from
Okay.
about the mangosteen.
Mangosteen?
Yeah, consider alkaline or acidic food.
Most fruits are always considered as alkaline. Most fruits. But when it's labeled as acidic, it's always, like I said, just on that border level scale, you know, that is at the tipping point that where it will become acidic. But it doesn't mean that it's not good for you as well, because there is also a lot of high antioxidants that is in those fruits as well. So you can't categorize that it's totally bad, but generally most of the fruits are really good for you to bring back that balance of alkaline. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so any more questions here? Should we take a photo?
Yeah, shall we on?
Any
the-
questions, just feel free to
Yeah.
type it in. I'm sure some of the topic here is really very new to you, and maybe it's like you after this probably you want to also start researching. Feel free to read more about food, and at the end of the day, always remember it's all about balance. Okay.
Yeah, shall we on the camera and take a photo together? Melina, can you stop sharing?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for the button to stop sharing.
You just stop sharing at the there is a bottom showing like stop sharing.
I don't know why today so kalam kabut, because the last one I was like, ooh, easy. Maybe too long, never do already. Okay, let's see. Resume share. Thank you everybody for being so patient. I'm trying to locate that button, and unfortunately
pop,
I
right?
don't see it. I don't see the button, but okay. Oops. Thank you. Thank you for taking taking charge of the stream.
Hi everyone, you're on the camera. Shall we take a photo? Any question you can still asking Coach Melina. Yeah, okay. One, stop, type any text first. Yeah, so it will pop up. Okay, there is a 2 pages. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, second page. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on. Okay. So any more questions? Don't feel shy to ask about this.
Yeah, so what I like to conclude to everyone here, don't get too stressed out every time when you look at your food now and you think, is it acidic? Is it alkaline? No, don't do that. Because when I was not part of this transformation journey, I knew about this many years because my husband's the kind of person who like to eat a lot of health meals. So I came to a point that I always look at my food and I always say, alkaline, acidic, alkaline, acidic, forget about that. But you have this knowledge, so you just make wiser choices, okay? All you need to do is just to follow the meal plans given by your coach. And if you haven't followed any of our programs, ask the person who invited you here, ask about how you can bring back your body into balance, and ask about our programs, because this is how I got started, and all of us here have amazing transformations because we get to understand portions means more, and also the reasons why we need to eat this kind of portions, right? Everything is in balance. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed the session today. It is really just at a very broad level about understanding alkaline and acidic foods. Let's see if next time I can give you a bit more about information about the food categories after that. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this session. And again, thank you for being so patient of my skills on the computer. Thank you, Annie, so much for being patient with me as well. So I'll see you all very soon in my workout classes. If you also follow my workout classes, and yeah, have a very nice evening. Not evening yet. Okay, it's afternoon. Lunchtime.
Yes.
Yeah, have a nice lunchtime, and don't forget 2 p.m. we have our BDC review graduation 2 party. So get the link from your coach. It's going to be so exciting there as well. Okay,